Big cussing.
Big cuss.
Started saying the cussing and then like nothing else, you know what
Is that thing supposed to be so close?
Probably not.
Moving back.
No, I've got reasons. Yeah, you can't really even say.
Man, I had a day first.
Is that any better?
I guess I.
Yeah, that's better.
I'd like to, welcome everybody to our regular session, DSS board meeting. Just a reminder to everyone in, attendance to please silence your mobile devices. And I'll ask our county manager to lead us in the invocation.
Be glad to. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for your very many blessings, Lord. I thank you for all you've done for us, Lord. I thank you for, Lord, just guiding and directing us, Lord, in our day-to-day duties, Lord, that we serve you first and foremost, but we're here to serve the county as well. Lord, help us to do it in a manner pleasing to you, Father. And Lord, I just pray you bless our decisions. I ask that in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I'll ask our clerk to lead us in the pledge.
Pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 5 on the agenda is the ethics awareness and conflict of interest reminder. If there are any potential conflicts of interest that need to be disclosed tonight, now would be the appropriate time to do so. Hearing none, I'll move on to item number 6, additions or changes to the agenda. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda that need to take place tonight? Still in the silence my phone. Hearing no additions or changes to the agenda, I will entertain a motion that we approve I entertain a motion that we adopt the agenda as it's presented.
So move.
I have a motion from Commissioner Roberts, a second Commissioner Masters. All those in favor, vote by usual sign. Item number 8 is approval of the minutes from February the 12th, 2024. Having time to review those minutes, I'll entertain a motion that we accept those if there are no suggested changes.
Move.
Have a motion from Commissioner Roberts. Is there a second? Second. Steve got a second from Commissioner Pittman. All those in favor, vote by usual sign. Motion carries. Item number 9 is our director's update. Welcome back.
Yeah, short turnaround.
I know.
I was struggling with, okay, what are we gonna talk about tonight? In 2 weeks. But a few updates. I go ahead and I always like to keep you guys involved on what's happening. Up on the hill, as we say, and meetings coming forth. So just as a reminder for those that serve on our community child protection team and our child fatality protection team, we do meet tomorrow at 3:30. And we will have a guest speaker. Her name is Carrie Young, and she's with the state NCDHHS. So she's going to kind of update us on some policy with that group. We do have our MDT meeting scheduled for the 12th of this month. And we will also have another speaker for that meeting. Her name is Christy Preston, and she is with the School of Government. And she has come to speak to us about our MDT team and the legalities with that, and just to see if she can offer any support going forward also with that. So any of you are welcome to join us for that. That will be on the 12th at 11. So yeah, you're welcome to join us. And that is our team that meets to address like the adult services side. Typically we have our Sheila with transportation. We have the Senior Citizen Center there. We have our Senior Tar Heel there. So there's several folks in the community, EMS, RHA, all those. So we have a lot of good discussions at that meeting. Then we have our law enforcement meeting on Thursday, the 19th of March. We still continue to meet ongoing just to see if there's any things happening that we need to talk about or any changes. And we are going to kind of talk about truancy at this meeting and kind of what everybody's role in is with that. So just to let you know. And then this month we are hosting a foster parent dinner, and this dinner will be really to focus on engagement with the social workers and the foster parents, just to kind of encourage that communication and stuff that needs to be happening. And Sean and myself will be present, so we're just kind of roundtable discussion is what we're calling it, and just kind of getting to know our foster parents a little bit better. And that is all I have, short and sweet tonight. Do you have any questions for me?
Date and time on the dinner.
6 o'clock, it is Thursday, the 14th at 6 p.m. at the office. And we are catering that. We've actually had a donation to cater.
Thank you, Dr. Boone. I think, Mr. Block is up next.
Good evening.
Good afternoon.
Hope spring just around the corner.
It's nice, ain't it?
It's nice. Not a lot of changes. We did have, one youth discharged, from services, so we're down to 40 kids. The youth that discharged was an 18 to 21. He decided not to continue in the program, so he opted out. So we currently have 40 kids in custody.
What does that mean for him?
Um,
Basically, no extra funding that he.
Right, so I mean, it was his choice. Is basically sometimes they don't want to follow the rules requirements for that additional help, but that doesn't mean that he can't come back if he runs into a situation where he changes his mind. He can come back and we can just reopen the case and continue to help support him again.
And by support, is it just like housing and?
It is, it's helping with housing. There is financial support with it, but it's just not just giving them money. It's more, if they need certain services to connect them with that, is help pay for those things, case management, help work through problems. He's one of Greg Duncan's kids, and I mean, Greg has done a lot of advocacy for him. Held his hand a long time, and then so
It seems like 18, I'm thinking of myself, if I was in that situation, I'd be just like him. I'd want to let me be out of here, I want to be out, and you don't know anybody, you don't know that you don't know, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's good to hear that he can come back.
Yeah.
That, I guess, is the.
And I think he's left and come back once before. So he's but sometimes, it's like, okay, I can do this on my own, or I don't want to be responsible and be accountable and once on, but we're still there.
And that
for
support's
support.
available to their 21, right?
Till they're 21, but we've even had kids call us after that. Of course, we can't provide the official financial support, but that doesn't mean that we can't advocate for them. We can't help them. We can't make phone calls on their behalf and do some things for them. We've built those relationships up. And so, we kind of consider, it's kind of our continuing responsibility.
Yeah.
Until whenever that is. But yeah, it is that challenge, when some of these kids have aged out in the system, it's hard to continue to want to be kind of under the system, but then you realize life is hard. And so sometimes it's coming back and realizing, okay, I need that little extra help. So we'll always be there, and we still have the program, and we got a couple out there that are still eligible whenever if they do need us, all they gotta do is pick up the phone and we'll be back involved. So, it's, at least I like the flexibility with it. It's not like once you leave, you're done. So you can come back and forth as many times as you need. We still got 6 kids eligible for adoption. We got still another one on appeal. So once we have that appeal back, that'll bump it up to 7 based upon our belief that we've met the standard of proof for the TPR in that case. We have 2 kids that are in trial home placement, so they're on track to be out with their parents and be closed out here in the next couple of months. We have a new foster home, so we're up to 12 foster homes now. And we have 4 families currently in the licensing process, so we continue to, this is kind of like one of those things, you know, we always seem to have somebody in the pipeline, and people leave for different reasons, but mainly it's, you know, people will adopt or they'll get their grandkids or something, they'll stay open for a while to do some respite, but when the license kind of runs out, they let it go, so. But for calls that came in last month, we had 12 calls that came in. 5 of those were screened in, and at the end of the month, we still had 5 open assessments or investigations going on. And we currently still have 4 families in the in-home process. For APS, we had 14 calls, 10 of those were screened in. And we did service intake with 2 of those. At the end of the month, we still had 10 open assessments going on. They've been really, really busy. And a lot of activity going on right now with APS. We still have 11 in the payee category. We have 12 individuals in guardianship, as well as then we have 4 that we've contracted out in addition to that, but we're carrying the 12. And then for Workforce, we had 19 applications come in for last month. So it's been a kind of a busy month for them as well. Any questions?
Any questions for Sean?
But how do you start showing your process for adoption through the court system? And the parents, I think, have the right to appeal if everybody that, how long does that process take?
It's normally not taking the longest it's currently taken. I hate to keep going back to COVID or these things, but the last case that went into this extended period of appeal started just as COVID hit. And basically, usually you're looking at 6 months or so for a turnaround from appeals, been my general experience. This case took 18 months just to get back to the appeal. The appeals came back with a couple of things that they didn't feel like were really spelled out in the order, didn't mean that we didn't meet the TPR. They felt like the judge did make the correct decision, but didn't like some of the language in the final order. The final order was modified, which then opened up the door for the parent to appeal again. So because the order was basically re-entered, it opened up that door, so the parent took the opportunity to appeal the case again. Basically, none of the merits, none of the findings were changed, but it just opened up that. So we're hoping we're not sitting here for another 18 months waiting on this situation. But we have no real prospect right now. What my understanding is they have a backlog in the appeals court, and it's just been a very, very slow process. The good thing with this young kid is that the home in which he's placed in is actually adopting him. So it's not a situation where it's holding up his permanent home. It's just a kind of a technicality of being able just to finalize that would be his forever home.
The goal of the year.
The goal is to have permanency in a year, but it's very difficult for us to have a goal change and have TPR in 12 months. Basically, the court really won't let us even change the goal to adoption until about the 12-month period. And even sometimes even at that point, they will extend that for the parent for different reasons. And so we may hit the 15, the 12, go past the 12, hit the 14th, 15th month before sometimes the court will let us, change the goal. And then you're basically going through the whole process of going through the TPR process, the appeals process. So sometimes when in reality, you're really looking at more of a 2-year process if everything really goes step by step, versus really that you're going to have permanency in a 12-month.
Sean, I was on a state call the other day and they were talking about I guess, just shortages of beds for, higher acuity kids across the state. And one of the things that some of the different folks in there were saying was that because JCPC is kind of understaffed across, or it's the court side of that's understaffed across the state, that judges are kind of pushing those kids towards DSS to kind as, I guess, a gap stop. Are we seeing any of that here?
We have not.
Okay.
And we've had a couple of situations since I've been here, which are called gifts of the court.
Right.
Where, someone going for a DJJ here and the judge says, I'm taking custody of that kid given. We've had one, maybe two of those situations over the last about 5 years, but that's not typical. I could see where that could be happening in the larger counties, but we have not seen.
Okay.
seen that.
I never heard of that, but they were saying like staffing shortages across the state, and juvenile justice was, like DSS was kind of the final backstop for some of those kids, so.
Yeah, it does happen. They even have a name for it, called the gift of the court. If you hear the gift of the court, that's usually what that is. Well, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Miss Tammy. Thanks, Sean.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This will be short and sweet as usual. We're looking at February expenditures. This time of year, we should be at 66%. And we are at 67, so we're running just a little bit over. We did move some monies around last meeting. You guys voted on an amendment for me. We moved some funding around to cover some of those higher costs that we were experiencing. I think we have one more shot at that this budget year to do it, so we're watching some of those higher accounts still. Our revenues are running a little bit behind as normal, about 7%. We should be at 49, we're at 42% all programs, but we do have 110,000 in reimbursements waiting to post, or we'll post in March. That is for January. With all of that being said, we know we're headed right into budget planning time. So I will be attending a budget training session. It will give me a clearer understanding. I go to every one that they offer, a clear understanding of how most counties prepare the DSS budget. Our county does it a little bit different, which we're allowed to do, and it works well for us. But it's still more that I can understand, the better off that I think we'll all be with that. And then the Western Regional Fiscal Officers Meeting is also that day, where we all get together, a meeting of the fiscal minds, and go over what troubles we're having, what successes, and I always look forward to that. Do you have any questions?
Forgotten Initiative, that's the bags, is that what that is?
Yeah, that's a donation we received.
Gotcha.
Yeah, okay. It helps us a lot.
Any other questions for Tammy?
Just looking at a couple of things, I know some of your guardianship housing.
We were talking about that here, actually.
So we did move some money into that account last budget amendment, last meeting. But we're still running high because the cost is still coming in. However, just today, we finalized the reports that will go to those estates to help recoup some of those and get reimbursed for some of that county cost. So I'm riding that kind of high, watching it close.
Okay.
And making sure, because I fully expect some of those monies to come in and get us back into where we should be.
Okay, and I don't wanna sound stupid,
It's okay.
what is guardianship housing? What is?
Guardianship is our APS fund where we pay costs for adults.
So,
But recoup it from their estates.
Recoup it when we can. Yes, we've got to make sure we're accurate. We've tallied up the costs. The state is ready to handle our requests for those things back.
how many people are we providing guardianship housing for?
Well, that's on your list on all that covered. So that is all of our wards, some of them have funds and some of them don't. So I think there's three. Yeah, I think there's three main ones that we're covering costs for. We did reports for, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I know all guardianships, we're not paying for it, we're like skilled nursing, right? But I guess that's what.
Would you say, Sean?
I would think that somewhere around 3 would be. probably
Yeah,
accurate.
right now we've done
That's probably.
three states we're looking at getting monies back now. So if they can provide that, which we're getting where they can, so.
And guardianship housing normally from the folks are placed, would that be in assisted living facility?
It's in various situations, yeah, just, it depends on whether they have funding.
The skilled nurse.
Most of the time.
With expense.
Yeah, that would be the most.
Yeah, if you're looking at skill level nursing, you're looking at about $9,000 a month. That's just for that, you know, and plus some additional on top of that. So that's what hits us hard is when we have those situations, which we've expressed some concern about. I think we brought some stuff to the, you know, that we could really be overwhelmed very quickly as a county, given a number of people we have aging very rapidly in our community without the funds to be able to do that. If they hit that level of care, the county becomes responsible. We can be looking at a massive financial hardship in a very quick time if you know, if we don't, I don't, you know, it's kind of like, how do we manage that? Because you can't really control for it.
That's what I was gonna say, you guys don't have any control over any of that, do you?
Right.
And it's named housing, but it covers any cost one of our wards cannot pay on their own. So there's a lot of stuff that happens in that account, medicines, other things as well. Unclaimed bodies is one of the things that we handle that is billed under here. Thankfully, we don't see that a lot, but so, although it's called housing, it covers a lot more of this.
Would that be why your medical supplies could possibly be up also?
So the medical supplies is just our medicine cabinet in at the office that staff pulls from. I actually moved money out of there in anticipation we weren't gonna spend it, but we got an invoice the very same month. So we're back a little bit over, but however, I don't foresee us spending anything, and that's the rest of the year for that. So that's just a little bit of change that I can move over on our very last budget amendment. We're still
It's not
running.
a lot of money, is it?
No, it's not. Not compared to that guardianship.
No.
But I'm watching these close. I want you to know, and making sure we're coming in. I fully right now feel like we can do it with this year's budget. Is like, you know, we've cut overtime. Overtime's tight right now, but we're still under. So watching close. Any other questions? Thank you for your time.
Does anyone have a need for a closed session tonight? There are no items for discussion. Board comments, Mr. Horn.
You guys continually bring good, results when you come. I know it's a very stressful job. So thank you guys again for what you do.
Mr. Robbins.
I'm just gonna echo what he said. I'd say thank you for all that you do. It's tough day in and day out, dealing with, you know, different circumstances, and you never know what's gonna be thrown your way, and you're always prepared. And so I appreciate that. And I appreciate that position, that the job the whole faculty do. I mean, it's very important.
Mr. Masters.
No comment tonight.
Commissioner Pittman.
Have y'all got it made up there? You're talking about it. I just give you, I feel like so Wheel of Fortune, you know, when they go through and they talk to each family, they're like, oh, my lovely wife. But y'all are awesome. You know that. We appreciate everything y'all do. I do have a couple of things to comment on. I had a couple of different folks in the community come to me bragging on DSS, which is, you know, we don't usually get you know, the kudos that you guys deserve. So, one was about that you had helped a, family get funding to get them set up at the greens out there. The lady, I'm trying to think of the lady's name, that her, yeah.
Deanna, was it Deanna?
It may have been Deanna, yes.
First.
Yes, and they were very complimentary of, you know, basically like a seamless process of you guys getting them set up to, with all the billing and the, you know, all the stuff that you have to do. What is it?
Oh, could have been
Bonnie,
Bonnie, yeah.
Yes, long-term care, sorry, yes, not, yes, yeah, sorry, long-term care, yes. Bonnie Whitson, that's it, not Deanna, Bonnie Whitson. But they were very, very outspoken about how, and it was two different people came to me about her. So, you know, just please recognize her and let her know that she's doing a great job. And the other thing I was gonna tell you about, it just slipped my mind like a champ right there. I was too busy up here talking. It was Bonnie Whitson, and it's gonna aggravate me to no end, but I don't remember what it was at this point. So, but thank you for what you do, and you know, appreciate everything y'all are keeping going, because I know it ain't easy.
I don't guess I have a comment. I appreciate what y'all do. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion second. All in favor, vote by usual sign.
Well, aggravate me to no end. I can't think of